enterprise, it means a very complex plan, right? A very complex plan that has been initiated. So the enterprise is to gain control over the entire earth, right? Order of chaos. Right now you see him in the streets through social media, through the TVs, through everything is being basically geared towards subduing the people of the world, subduing society, putting society in a state of mind where they can be controlled. That's why right now you have debt-based slavery. Everybody will see a drive on the road, and you can call it 95% of them have some form of debt or loan is in to be repaid. A lot of them will see a drive the most expensive cars, they have a debt to be paid.
From your birth certificate, you're in debt.
Thank you very much, bro. I did not know that. You see me? So you're own. They are put you in a state of being controlled, man. To even drive a car on the road, you have to be registered. When a newborn child is born, when a child is born, see me? You have to be registered. That's why the government can come and take your picture away from you.
Everybody have a share of the national debt.
Good. Yeah. Everybody have a share of the national debt. A couple years ago, I was in school at the time. I hear over the radio where I think it was Rad Michelle at the time speaking on the radio. Before Rad Michelle moved to Melo FM, you see me? Him said, every child born.
Phillips.
Huh?
Peter Phillips.
Peter Phillips said.
Yeah, I really he was the finance minister at the time.
God.
Yeah.
See me? He said every child was born, basically born into a debt of approximately 600,000. Right?
So everybody is responsible for paying back the debt.
Everybody is responsible for paying back the debt.
Every citizen, even the baby who are about to born,
exactly.
is responsible for the repaying of the debt.
So who put the people in that state? See me? Not only leaders of the country, but it coming forth from the so-called white man. Because it put this country in a state of austerity where we have to go back to him to help maintain the flow of cash within the economy. So Esau is the one to be blamed, and therefore he's the one that is going to be punished for all of the wickedness that bring up on our people.
Proverbs 22 verse 7, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. So our people, no matter where you want to believe how much money you have in the bank or whatever, just know that you are a part of the system. Once you have a fiat currency that you have to depend on the so-called white man, just know that you are trapped by him. See me? You are a part of the system. Once this man say, yo, the value of money is this, you can't come back and decide, say, yo, you have to negotiate that the value of money is what you want it to be. See me? That's why the scripture tells you in the book of Philippians, say, yo, Paul said, count all things but dung for the excellency of Yahushua. Because Paul knew that the society would never belong to him at that time, man. You have to basically have a righteous ruler to basically live in righteousness. You see? That's why even Yahushua said, what? Give unto Caesar what is Caesar. So right now, them have this current society set up in our way where all we have to do is get the Lord. When time comes, we have to let go, because the time will come when they're going to tell us, say, yo, you have to take this to basically live in a society, and if you don't have a righteous mindset, you are going to be trapped in it, man. Right? Huh?
This is Nahum 1 verse 2.
Right?
Yahweh is jealous, and the Lord revengeth.
So Yahweh is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. Jealous because the so-called white man want to use our people as if, say, yo, we are slaves. See, we want to use our people to servants and handmaids. See me? That's the way we want to use our people. Treat us like we are the scum of the earth. Treat us like we are sheep. See me? So every father jealous, and he said, revenge.
The Lord revengeth and is furious.
And he's furious.
The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies.
So the Lord will take vengeance on his adversary, and he's reserving wrath for his enemies. Those trying to say, every father, Yahweh shall have adversaries, and him have enemies. Him have a particular people who choose unto himself. Right? And all of the other rest of them, they are nothing, they are spittle, they are nothing to them before. But all of these other nations, beginning with Esau, them use the children of the Heavenly Father as we are punishment. See me right now, I'm planning to kill out a massive amount of it.
Yeah, we are that's how they classify us, our people, as bands, because one of the thing behind the birth certificate is that the KSIP number on the bottom of the birth certificate is a trade or is a bond on the stock market.
Right.
Right?
See me? So as the brother mentioned it, that's what they use for people. See me, bro?
The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked.
Not at all acquit the wicked. Right? The wicked speaking of Esau. Right? All you know say you talk about Esau. Malachi. See me, you can get you can get Jeremiah 49. See me, look at that. See me?
Malachi?
Yeah.
And this is Malachi 1 verse 4.
Right?
Use verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build desolate places.
We are impoverished, but we will return and build desolate places. Why Edom said that? Because throughout the 400s, before the 400s, time of the Dark Ages, they were in a state of servitude. Right? Now they start to come up in a rank throughout the Renaissance period, right? The rebirth, based on the rebirth of so-called white man. So where them start to build. Now when you read it in the book of Revelation, it tell you when them start to come up and it tells you go forth to deceive the nations. I think Revelation 20. See me?
Revelation chapter 20 verse 7, it says, and when the 1,000 years were expired,
when the 1,000 years was expired, right? From the time of around 300 AD, you see, other dominant era called Lord, but straight up to the 1400s, that was the Dark Ages. You understand? The Dark Ages meaning when our people were in a state of rulership. See me? And Esau was below us. See? So it's scripture say when 1,000 years was expired, what?
Satan shall be loosed out of prison.
Satan shall be loosed out of prison. See me? Satan shall be loosed out. Satan shall be loosed out of prison. Satan the adversary.
And shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth.
Shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. See me? Going out meaning say they're gonna destroy, they're gonna do something we call iconoclasm. See me? They're gonna destroy all of the artifacts that belong unto us. And they're gonna pose themselves as if they are the people of them before. See, as if they are Israelites. That's why they're over there in the Middle East right now. Right? Right? So them are the people who are the wickedness. So that's why when you go back to Malachi, they're going to return and build the desolate places. They're going to return and set up themselves as a power.
God. Back in Malachi 1 and 4, thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
So they build in vain. See, because they will fall, so they shall build, but I will throw down. See, so all of the things that they build right now, they build it in vain. Because the son of them will fall and come to eradicate all of these things right now.
And one of the main things with them build is what?
See me?
New World Order.
New World Order, man.
Yeah, that's the empire that they want to reset all of this stuff. The great reset that is actually in motion right now. It is to reset the world economy, you know what I mean, to a digital one, which is the key part of the New World Order. You know what I mean, having people chipped and all of that, you know. So that is one of the things that they might build, but even the Father will tear down.
That's why when you look in Davos, see when them have the meeting in Davos, I hear Henry Kissinger talk, I hear Klaus Schwab talk, see, and I want to say with him, somebody that Terry, see, him and Klaus Schwab write a book with him, The Great Reset. See me? Blatantly mentioned that we are going forth into a new world order. See me? So that is a society where they might try to build. See? And they might try to build it, as we mentioned before, through order of chaos. That's why right now the world is in a complete state of disarray. Right now when you hear about say the war over there in Russia or Europe, and you hear say food is being restricted from certain places, all of this is basically being orchestrated because of destabilization of society. See? Because they might try to establish their system, they might try to establish their rulership in perfection. Because don't get it twisted. Them are the one who are rule right now. But them are trying to perfect the rulership.
Especially the control. Because Skipper say wanted to prove that we're still under the so-called white man. Skipper said, he say, he that stealeth a man and he be found in his hand, the Most High got destroy him. When we get stolen or when the so-called white man bought us in slavery, we never get free because our Kingsman Redeemer, which is the Lord Yahushua, never come and redeem us as yet. So we're still in the hand of the enemy. And one of the things how he trapped us if we still be in his hand is through that birth certificate, you know what I mean, and also through the mechanism of death. Then, but in order for you to tie to the system and actually, be subjected to payments and debt, you begin with a birth paper. Then, and then what they want a more sophisticated and more rigorous control is what? Through that microchip. Then, which the social credit score system, like what China have, that is what they're trying to implement, man. Then?
Run. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever, referring to Esau, Edom.
Exactly, so they might call him the border. And people whom the Lord hath indignation forever. The word indignation means righteous anger. You understand?
This would they get the wicked in name.
Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 12. You can start at verse 7. It says, a prophecy kind. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, his wisdom no more in Teman, his counsel perished from the prudent, is their wisdom vanished.
Hey, Salaka, and as you mentioned, Teman, the source, one of them top, some of the top people in Esau, which are the Germans, they are the Temanites. Then it is through them majority of this wisdom actually has sprung from. Yeah. So, me upon the birth certificate for a while, but that birth certificate thing, the Germans, it's a old Nazi thing which was established in 1930, 1933, which every baby were born, huh? Yeah, it's some German shit, because they say what, every baby, we're birth, is given a certificate of manifest. They call it in terms of maritime admiralty law. When a ship pull into its berth, then the ship berth, and it issue they issue a certificate of manifest to present the amount of thing or goods upon the ship. Or the same thing with a baby. Give him a certificate of manifest when he's born. But what that does, it ties them to the system, man. A man when in the system we don't have a birth certificate, you can't track him, he basically don't exist. Right. But in order to get you in and lock you in, it begins with that. They're trying to identify you. And that's what they did. So what a more sophisticated level of what they call identification where they move towards is the RFID microchip, man. That's going to be the killer.
One of the big things what them do is call it what's the name again, man? The Gavi. Yeah. And some of the alliance when they send digital identity to the world. Yeah. And once they have billions of people who don't able to identify themselves, so they don't able to get access to certain social services. Right. Really and truly, they don't care about people. Nope. What they care about is that people, they want to monitor people. Yeah, so if you don't have an identification, you're not able to get monitored. And right now in Jamaica, a lot of people are falling through cracks. Right. So when they create a digital economy, where you have to use the jam decks, you have to have the NIDs and everything there, nobody can fall through the cracks anymore. You can be easily regulated, you can dodge income tax or any other type of tax. You see me? The government can program the money where you have. You see me? Meaning, if you have $1 million in your bank account and you're not spending it, right? Them can put an expiry date on that money, to what? To force you to spend it. You see me? And when you spend it, them I say that stimulate the economy and them fuck with it. So the programmable money part that will come is very scary. Right? While a lot of people, them just say, oh, it's convenience, man.
Then we just roll out the digital money out here, right?
Yeah, roll out here.
Just to add to your point as well, brother, when you open up an account, there is a contract that you normally sign. Now, there are certain words in fine print. Now, part of them words, it tells us, this contract is subjected to change by the BS of the freedom thing without notifying you. See me, and this has happened to me, man. I have an account with CIBC. When I come back there, I come and check the account, certain amount of charges apply to the account. So I ask them why these charges apply to the account. They say, because the policy changed. So how comes the policy change without me being notified of these charges? They say, well, when you sign the contract that was a part of the contract, that the policy is subject to change at any time. See me? So this is the power where you can give them if you continue to basically lead into them system.
Right. Revelation, let me go back to German after. Revelation chapter 13 verse 15.
Right.
It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
God worship the system that is the image of the beast.
Right.
So cause as many that will not come within the system should be killed.
Right.
Remember?
And this
because all of the system we have been established, if you don't be a part of it, so pretty much you assign you one death sentence. Because when you come forward with all of these things, you want to always use a reference to the stimulus package where they give up.
Right.
They give out the stimulus packages, but they give it out to the Western Union because a lot of these people, they don't have bank account and they don't have a firm, concrete connection to the system.
Right.
So them are live basically on the edge of the system. So they can't be fully tracked. So them don't have a card when they swipe it, all of the money is being tracked. So them come forth and them give it out to MoneyGram, Western Union and all of these other money transfer outlets. Now when they come and they realize a lot of people, all people as well, they're in a line of drop down, they might carry them to the hospital right through. See me, you remember the times, man, they might carry them to the hospital. See me, they come forth and them say, the banks need to relax, them know your client policies, right? So now what the banks do? NCB was one of those banks who push forward to relax and know your client policy so that somebody can have some form of digital connection to a bank. They come forward with Quest. See me? You don't know, Quest. I don't know if I pronounce it right. See me, Q-U-I-S-K. Quest. Alright, Quest. See me, where you can use your phone number to sign up for your account with NCB. And you can basically, yeah, pretty much it's a mobile wallet. So that was one form of what they come out with. I think Sagicor come out with Swift. I don't remember whichever its bank come out. But the point is that they might try to get you more drawn into the system. Right. See me? So I'll read that again, brother.
And also, just to add, with the NIDs coming out now, all of the banks them sign a memorandum of understanding with the government to accept the NIDs as the only proof of identification to open a bank account now. So you don't need anything more than your NIDs card to open a bank account. So they push it.
I remember one time I used to need 2 passport size pictures.
Letter from JP and one kind of, proof of address, proof of income. Not anymore. Once the NID is officially roll out, once you have that alone, that's your identification. That have everything. The bank them sign an agreement with the government. So once that's fully rolled out, you come in with the NID card, that's all they need for open an account. That's all the identification they need these days.
Right. So imagine now, without them going to start basically gradualize and tell us, say, if you don't have that, see me, you can't get access to a bank account. You can't get access to certain loans. You can't get access to certain benefits as well. That's why when the brother read a while ago about the image of the beast, because the image of the beast is the system where them set up. Bro?
Revelation chapter 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast,
which is the system that we're living in right now. All of the transactions that we are making, you have to be a part of the system to make those transactions.
Right.
But, as brother mentioned, it mimics the system of Rome. So we're living in a new, reborn Roman Empire. Remember?
It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Not worship the image of the beast should be killed. The word worship means go back and say serve.
Right.
See me? So if you're not part of the system, see me, you're not serve the system in certain ways. Because when you take out a loan, you're serving the system. You know? See me? When you make a transaction by a card, a credit card, anything you do in the system is a part of worshiping the system. You buy a house, you take out a mortgage. Huh? And the brother say various ideologies that you own. You see me? You're worshiping the system. You understand? So it says, as many that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Because that time of coming, see me, it's going to be mandatory. Not going to be by choice anymore.
Yeah, that's what, Salaka, when Floyd Green, he stated that because the mission is to document everybody. Alright, so the free birth certificate, as Floyd Green said the other day, that over 11,000 Jamaicans supposed to be benefited from, he mentioned undocumented Jamaicans to be benefited from free birth certificate. Now, I'm on here free, and instantly, them say, free birth certificate. But the brother mentioned, it's not them care about you, that's why they want to give you a free birth certificate. They want to document you, saying, so they can give account for every single citizen in Jamaica. And also, when you get a birth certificate, the Nids come into play because his ultimate goal is to what? To establish NERA, which is the new company under which Nids will be, published or something like that. Then, so when you get the birth certificate, everything gonna be on one, which is the Nids. And then, after them put everything on one, they transfer everything to the RFID microchip, which is the ultimate goal, man.
Right.
Then?
Quick side precept, 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
And everybody is doing it. Britain working on their own national ID. So, Africa,
India,
Adar is way ahead. That's why the Indian Prime Minister come out here because they want to mimic the Adar system that is in India. Then the government is copying it, and they also go to Estonia to copy the Estonian way how them actually build for them identity or identification card. So everybody is doing it. Yeah, and there's the whole of Africa. They have a thing named ID for Africa.
India, one of the countries will remove the most physical money out of circulation.
Exactly.
India, yeah.
Yep.
They remove a lot of physical money out of circulation in India.
And there was actually a complaint of the Indian citizens, like they're holding up the paper money and saying, see, this is useless. Because that is the ultimate goal for them to actually get rid of cash. Go ahead.
All right, back in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor.
Just to pinpoint the cause, the system itself. Big Andrew Wallace always said.
Yeah.
He mean directly, I tell you. He mean directly saying that we not gonna do this or we not gonna stop nobody from. But the system where them implement will automatically push you out. Because if you don't agree with the system, for example, MasterCard. MasterCard have a thing now, or Wallet More, I should say, where them have the chip where you can pay with the chip. You have other companies in Sweden where you can pay with the chip.
Right.
Now, if the companies and places that you shop require you to have a chip, what are you going to do? So indirectly, they must show you that if you don't get this, you're not going to be able to have access to the system, man.
There are a lot of businesses as well overseas where get ready to stop accepting cash.
Yep.
One of them establishing and tell us, look here, we use cash.
Yep. And that is that is the ultimate goal. Why you hear Andrew when talk about the fourth industrial revolution. He use these terms. He talk about the great reset. He talk about the new normal. He said the old way, we cannot go back to the old way of doing business. Now when he make this speech, people look on it and say, government that try to do this and
Speak, but them not realize what's going on.
Yeah, exactly.
What is to come?
So
if you not keep up with the WAF,
yep.
you don't really know what mean when him say your new normal.
Yeah.
Or when him say great reset or whatever, anything like that. It just flat
Yep.
what people head.
Exactly. So when the scripture say, he caused it all, both small and great. You read it again?
Because the word cause it here means to prepare.
Yeah.
So, so
And what is being? Yeah.
being prepared right now, pretty much, it's my force in a narrow passage.
The needs is being prepared. The chip is already there, because it's just the perfect and the perfect chaos, right? Because even before that, you have right now, as I said, needs is in full swing in terms of them pushing very hard. Certain things are going on behind the scene. In the offices, in the different the government offices, like you have tax office, you have passport office, you have the birth paper office, the RGD. All documents are being scanned on a digital platform. So soon, you hear them say they want to roll it out by when? 2023 or by this year? By the end of this year? Later this year. But if you don't know what going on behind the scene, you would know that they might move very fast, man. There's a whole heap of work I get put in.
They said that the 2030 agenda is the right now agenda. They have to speed it up because people are getting smarter. People are wising up to it.
Yep.
So them said that agenda has been pushed to right now.
Yeah.
So you know what they're going to need? They're going to need a nice motivator.
Yeah.
Some kind of crisis.
That's why they're talking about the next pandemic. That's why they're talking about it.
That's why the famine depend on the room. That's why them actually create a global famine. Because without food, let's keep again. They cause it all.
Yeah. The green agenda is in the fucking up farms right through Europe and America.
Yeah.
Oil crisis.
Burning down supermarkets, burning down farmlands.
I think it's Henry Kissinger that says that the people who control the food, people who controls the food controls the people. So when them get the food shortages going, that's when people are gonna have to take that chip because they're gonna go hungry and they're gonna want to feed them kids, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
If you take a page out of previous world wars, come on to rationing systems similar to how they do the current digital system. Because if I'm a famine right now, what the best way to track people? Just make sure I say I ration food properly. There definitely be a digital system here that make sure I say as efficient as possible.
You mentioned the World War. In those World War, when they have the rationing, you have the rationing ticket or the rationing card. But now they can move from that. That's the old way of doing things. Now the new way is to give you even water, the very access to water. And I mean that will all be monetized or what you call it now? Yeah, monetized or properly regulated. Go on.
Yeah, as I said, rationing card, bro. We're nowadays with the war in Ukraine due to the wheat shortage. Iran did run out of wheat for bread, so they implement a digital rationing card.
Exactly. That's it. That is it, man.
Yeah.
Go on.
Revelation chapter 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time.
Yeah, so you mentioned Vision 2030, that they want to speed it up because people are catching on to things. Well, Esau, we are doing things, all right? We can't go the way of force. That's how the draconian measure is going to come in. The scripture say, refer to him as a dragon, he speaks as a dragon. So if you read Revelation and start at 13 verse 15.
Right. All right, Revelation chapter 13 and 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak.
So you have to understand, the beast, what I mean? What is, because the beast, no, literal, like what John saw was literal beast, but they represent something. They represent system, they represent a certain body, a government, right? It's not literally some beasts are going to rise up out of the sea. You're talking about governments and systems, all right? And read it again up.
Right? It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should...
Come on, continue.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Right, and that beast is talking about the Roman Empire, which we're in the second leg, if you know the history. We're in the second leg now of the Roman Empire. Then, so he said what? He might give power to him, to the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak. And what it say after that?
It says, and as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Right, so it come down to the point where this Roman Empire system, the America, because America is basically the revised Roman Empire. That's why it was established on what they call the Treaty of Rome. Then, that's why they have all Latin. When it comes to their laws, it's all Latin. Alright? When it comes to that's why they teach what? Roman numerals in school. Then because it's all Roman system all over again. Then, so what's going to happen? You have the UN troops. Then you're going to have your peace officers. If you not choose to worship the system or actually follow the system, you're going to be killed. They're going to reach to the point where they're going to put you to death.
To read certain historical documents or watch certain documents, or even some old movie, they always tell a Rome is an idea.
Yeah. Say it again, Ak.
If I go through certain history, right, them always tell you that Rome is an idea, not just an empire or a city. And that idea still pervades today. The same idea now I run is in NATO, the EU, America, all Western countries. Are pretty much under the same idea or spirit of the Roman Empire.
That is it. Done.
Verse 16 it says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Hey, the pandemic was a test run to show you how they might actually do things moving forward. What were they pushing in the what did they push in the CV-19 pandemic? If you don't get the V, you can't go a certain place, you can't go in a certain store. It is a trial run. It shows you exactly how they are about to do things. Then, if you don't get there, you're right. It's about compliance.
How far we need to push them for them comply?
How far we need to push them for them comply. Then, and we realize that people do anything for food. And them know this. The elite, they know this. Because the flesh I go actually, when hungry pain chip in, the flesh I go bar for save, man. I go bar for save.
Yeah, when people say why they think that's why them test to speak. When you get something in them body, whether them know what or not. And also you have the division between us. Those who get job and those who get, they say people have come in contact with people who contract the virus. You have to rock them out.
Yeah.
You have a people call police and say, oh, that's where they come from this place and that place. And if you want to call center work and
they get caught in the trap.
Yeah.
Because it shows you that, hey, we're willing to sell them, we're willing to sell what we own just to please your master. You know, that is it. Exactly. That's why people like us, we're going to be, what do they call it? Enemy of the state, public enemy number one. You know? People like us going to be public enemy number one.
To see one of these men, report them immediately.
Yeah, even our own. You now go up to the police or the government. Oh, not try on you to kill you. Then go ahead.
Matthew 10:36, a man's foe shall be day of his own household.
Yeah, for your enemy. So your own household, even your very woman. Because you stand up for the truth when she got turned against you.
Your
own children.
Remember the woman there, her husband must never want to certain that they vote him.
Yeah.
Never want to take him a job somebody in Australia.
Exactly. You see?
One wife, third country report.
So that's why people say, there will be a great division, man. You know?
In the movie 1938, our man's children them sell him out to the air.
So there, you see?
In children.
Children, man.
Now a movie too. About free time, man. Minority report. I don't want to with the son say what? Equilibrium.
Because if nobody had to pin them and his son sell them out because he's one of the pin.
Yeah, so you see, if you all up in your children is a life. I'm not saying don't take care of your youth or your children or don't be about them, but don't be surprised, man, because when in time of crisis, even your very own gonna show you another side. You know? And that's why when I say the world already set, the stage is already set. You know what I mean? For show you that if you're not, with the system, if you stand for something, even in different levels of society, if you speak out against any level of unrighteousness, you become the prey. Just look on it. So the stage is already set for people actually sell you out for you standing for righteousness, man. Then?
Well, the so-called white man establish the system perfectly because you take your youth from baby.
Yeah, that's what the word. Yeah.
Straight forward to tertiary level institutions.
Yeah, that's why you mentioned the word register earlier. It really means to bring back. So the more, even though, because when you register something, because it means to take back. It's a old, two Latin word. It's a compound word of two Latin word. The regis mean to take and yeah, right. It means to take back. Just in a simpler form. That's why everything we have, man. Once you register it, subject is to the government. Your car, then
marriage,
even the very marriage, man. Your son, your daughter.
When I'm married, I pretty much agree that any assets or income that they get together is shares of the state.
Yeah.
Even your kids.
Even your kids, man. That's why they can't. Hey, you have a thing when they call CPFA? Those people, just make your youth jump off at the bed one time when you go to hospital with them. CPFA and your sweet, man. And they might say, if you make it up, man, I take away your youth. I take away your child. Like, that's what children jump off of bed every time. You know what I mean? So it's not like say, these things are new. And sometimes, things happen, man. But this is how the government set up this entity. You know what I mean? If you take away your youth from it at any cost, man. Yeah, don't send them to school. Or don't jab them up. Don't give them injection. And see what so like way back then the fine for not injecting your child is 100,000 for way back then.
Immunization.
Immunization. Way back then that was it, man. But now, the price is way past that.
In a certain states, they actually give minors the authority to get the job without parent consent. But just want to bring up the word register from the etymology dictionary. It's from Old French registry, which means, and directly from medieval Latin, registrum, alteration of late Latin register, means list, matters recorded, past participle of regerere, which means to record or retort, literally, to carry back or bring back.
See? So now we are make up words. And now we are make up definition of words. We actually forget views, So we actually go in the definition, and the etymology, the etymon of the word, which is what? The study of root words. That's what etymology is. So you don't feel like we are coming off our own definition.
Yeah. Daniel 8:25 says, and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
If I can look at policy and etymology for me, please. We're going to do that. Because the police also falls under that word policy. They are policy keepers. That is the reason why you cannot, when you feel that they are there to protect you and you actually call them for do this and that, they are not there or they don't come. Because their interest is really not to protect you.
And that's why every crime against the state comes with a fine.
Yeah.
Because either you damage your government property, whether it be another person or whether it want to be one of them light posts or whatever the case may be. Once you damage your government's infrastructure, there's a property, there's a fine.
There's a fine, yeah.
Right, policy. Way of management, late 14th century policy, study or practice of government, political organization, civil administration, from the Greek politia, means state, administration, government, citizen. From polis meaning city or state.
Yep.
Right?
And you mentioned the word civil. They call you a civil servant. That is another. Because these are the thing. Read the precept again.
Right. Daniel chapter 8:25. And through his policy also.
So through his policy, through his, you know, the system of management. Then, go on.
He shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
He shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. No.
Deceit.
Deceit. No. The thing them what you think I judge you, are the words them what them use I judge you, and what you think this mean, that's not how them operate. They not operate for the same way how you use words. That's why them have Black's Law Dictionary. Them judge you based from a different definition. So when you think, oh, this is what me use to govern and navigate through society. No. You're navigating through society you want different definition where you're ignorant of.
Yeah, that's a
Words of meaning, and if you know some of the words them where them actually have meaning to it and what it actually mean, you'll be surprised. Like emancipation. Emancipation means from one owner to the next. When you're going, yeah?
transference of slave.
Transference of slave. May I go back to birth certificate again? You have a thing with them called capital minutiae maxima. Then them have 3 stages of diminishing your character. It's called character diminishing. Demoralizing. Demoralizing. Or really diminishing of a character. There's 3 stages. And they do that through the use of capitalization. Even words, the letter form, the calligraphy of words. Them carefully design these things, man, to trap you up.
People like, if you look up any, even Jamaican laws,
Yeah.
at the top of the law, them always tell them always give some headings and some definition. I say, wherever in this document you see this word, it means X, Y, Z.
Yep.
And if you look up
And then saying that always going to be the dictionary definition.
Yeah.
But we define a word in that law.
Yes. And we our people love to, our people love to use the word our people love to use the word parchment paper, man. Like say in a obia, let's say you derive your name from parchment paper. The biggest use of parchment paper are the elites. Because what a lot of these names and these things are written on, they use these things, they use parchment paper. Special paper, special ink.
special tools.
Special tools, man. Because even when you look up the word document, they actually, in law, it's an instrument. Then, they actually refer to it as an instrument.
There's most people think so them say, if you understand the charges, they're against you. You might say, yeah, like the complaint where I said to me and that it mean. I mean, if you literally stand underneath the charges.
Exactly.
So if you say yes, then that means that's why you have to. When I say yes, that's why you have to go to court now because yes or no. You say stand underneath the charges.
That's what, yeah, exactly. So don't fear them and judge you off of what you think certain things mean. No, that's why I said through his policy shall cause craft to prosper, man. You have been deceived. Go on up.
Psalms chapter 10 verse 6. He had said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity.
Yeah.
His mouth is full of cursing and deceit.
His mouth is full of cursing and deceit. So the so-called white man, who our people, regard as somebody high and mighty, because believe it or not, a man might say, no, I'm not regard him as that. But the psychological damage and the psychological effect that the so-called white man still have on our people, instantly when them see the so-called white man, it's submission. If him say something, cooperate. You don't have to force him. But if we say something, like our own say something, it's a different thing. It's challenging, man, to get to our people. Just like we out here, so. If it was a different scenario where the so-called white man had do this, I tell him that I get a different reception. Then, so our people still reverence the so-called white man. Over to this very day. See? Stockholm syndrome, man.
Before the level of deception, why is it that two people can do the same crime, the same motives under the same conditions, one can walk free and one is locked up?
One gets shut up.
It's based on how you argue a case. It don't really matter about the they claim say the motive and the evidence matter, but really it just really depends on how skilled the person is with argue a case.
It also depends on the judge. The job of the judge is to interpret the law. So every judge interprets the law different.
Yep, man.
His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity.
And this is the same man who you trust to give you to take care of you basically.
Yeah, magic juice.
You say you swear upon the Bible. Yo, we're going to judge over them law.
Yeah.
So why you swear upon the Bible?
Exactly.
I will use the standard of the Bible. Since at that I go determine whether or not I speak the truth, why wouldn't I just use it instead?
Exactly. Make a swear upon it and then I judge you from it.
Right.
You know?
And guess what? Everything with them are judge upon in this society, the scriptures have a right judgment for you. Anything at all we want. Anything.
That's why, man, you should not believe anything that these men say. Your government subscribe to working with these men. They ain't full-fledged. Your government, believe it or not, is in bed with the so-called white man. And he's following his agenda to the T. And you're about to see some things we had never experienced before. The so-called white man have a motto where them go by, order out of chaos. In Latin, it's order of chaos. Saying that's why we always mention it's Rome all over again. They always use these Latin terms. On the dollar bill itself,